welcome back from the Fantasy Football Prophets. We're so excited to have you guys here today. As you probably know, fantasy season is basically over. However, it is not over yet. We're doing a fantasy playoff contest. So if you guys want to compete in that, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're very excited. First thing to note, it is a free contest where you can win free shirts. Entering is free. All you have to do is submit a lineup. We'll talk about the details, and then later on we'll talk about a little bit more fun, just maybe some predictions or whatever. But first we got to get through some of the rules.
Yeah, so for some of you out there, maybe you had a great season, a chance for you to continue to build your resume, continue winning. And if you had a bad year, maybe you struggled in fantasy this year, well, this is a chance to redeem yourself and continue fantasy football, at least for about another month or two.
Yeah, if you got Todd Gurley in the playoffs.
Yes, which a lot of people did. Wow, that guy really carried a number of teams. So once again, it's free. And the other thing is that the top 10 finishers will win a free FFP t-shirt. It has our logo on the front, average guys above average advice. On the back, it'll have your name. So here's basically what it is. This is the lineup that you're going to need to submit. We went with 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, kicker, and a defense. Of course, defense includes special teams at that point. We decided to go away from the flex players. Now, here's the thing that's very important for you guys to consider this. These lineups are locked in once the playoffs begin. Once the first game kickoff goes off, these lineups are locked in. So if your team loses or gone, or if one of your players get injured, that's it. You're locked in. So make sure you consider carefully who you want to put in there. First game of the season, the first playoff game, these rosters are locked in. So those are the guys you need to submit.
Now, as far as submitting goes, we ask that we have a few important rules when submitting. First of all, is that all lineups must be submitted on this YouTube video, not another YouTube video, not a message to our YouTube page, not a message on our Facebook page, on this video in the comments section. Another thing is, as you can see on the left, is a little example of how we are asking you to submit. And it should be only 1 player per line. See, as you can see there, it's a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wideouts, tight end, kicker, and a defense. So we just ask full name spelt properly, 1 player per line. If you want to leave comments, that's fine as well. If it is not submitted that way, if there are 2 players next to each other on a line, we will not take the line up. It saves a lot of time and energy for us to do it this way. So yeah, that's basically just some minor details as how to post that are kind of important.
Yeah, really important. Once again, it's got to be vertical. If you put your names in there horizontally, one name next to the other, we're not going to use that. Put it in that way. We'd love to get you in there. So when you look at this challenge, I've been a number of them. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's more than just knowing your fantasy players. Obviously, that's a huge part of it, but it's also becoming a prognosticator to some extent. You have to be able to predict games a little bit. Here's what I typically do when I've been in these contests. Before I look at fantasy players, I'll first look at the breakdown, the brackets for the playoffs, and I'll kind of play out who I think is going to win all the way to the Super Bowl, and then I calculate how many games each team will have. And so from that, then I'll go ahead and I'll build my team out. Now, with that said, you know, it certainly looks like New England this year has a good shot of making it to the Super Bowl again. Seems like every year New England's up there.
Yeah.
And of course, looks like Philadelphia. It looks like they might get the #1 seed this year. So it would make sense, right, to build a bunch of your roster and a bunch of players from #1 seeds. But here's some food for thought on that. If you're willing to take some chances, well, that might be a wise strategy. If a wild card team makes a deep run, let's pretend, let's say that Kansas City gets hot and they go to the Super Bowl, well, those wildcard teams will actually get 1 extra game of statistics that the #1 seeds won't. So another thing to consider there. And here's one more final factor, is I've seen a lot of these scenarios where a guy will pick a team or pick a player, and he might actually get 3 or 4 games. His team might make it to the Super Bowl, but yet he's very unproductive. So you might pick, let's say, a wide receiver for Baltimore. And none of those Baltimore wide receivers have been good this year. So yeah, maybe let's say they get hot, they make it for a run, and let's say you've got Mike Wallace. And I've seen where a player like him can play 3 to 4 games and still put together not very much statistics. And yet another player, let's say, I don't know who else would be a great wideout out there to maybe grab. Let's say Michael Thomas may only play 1 game, but that 1 game he goes off for 100 yards and 3 TDs, can outscore him. So these are all the things you need to factor out when you're putting this scenario together.
All right, so yeah, we talk about we're going to be putting in lineups, and we'll have some fun with that. We're very excited about it. As always, we ask you guys to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're going to keep putting out videos as playoffs roll through and into the off season. If you do that every time we post a video, you'll see it. We're very excited. We don't want football to stop, so we're going to keep posting. We're going to do our best to make sure it doesn't stop. Every week, we're going to be posting videos updating all the best lineups that have been turned in, and talking about the playoffs and what we think is going to happen, making some predictions. It's just going to be real fun, and hopefully be able to keep playing some more fantasy for a few more months.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to competing against you guys, get a chance to compete against us for free and win some t-shirts once again. We really love the support that we've had. We're excited to build the community here. So that's it from FFP. God bless and take care.